Hey guys, first off, I'm in this rut where I just moved into my house. My garage isn't ready to where I can work on cars in there yet. I'm in the process of building like a garage build video. I'll upload that here in the near future, but I'm almost done with my garage, and I'm in this rut where it's really hard to push out like car content. I haven't been doing anything besides working or working on my garage. So my 350Z still needs a clutch, it's still sitting in my driveway. My STI still needs built. Just bear with me through this little rut I'm going through. Here soon I'll be able to work on my cars and get everything going back again. In the meantime, I'm going to film a video for you guys today. I'm going to explain all the cars I've owned within the past few years. I'm only 21, so basically it's the past 3 years that I've owned all these cool cars. By the title of the video, you probably already know it. I think it's around 16 cars and bikes. I have motorcycles as well. I'm going to include those because those are a vehicle, but I'm going to include those in this video. So keep in mind, I bought all these vehicles myself. I work 2 jobs. I bought my own house. I don't rely on my parents for any of these. I do this by myself. If you guys want to buy these cool cars, just work hard and work towards it, and you'll be able to buy what you want. So here's a picture of my first car. It wasn't necessarily a car. It was actually a truck. You can see kind of there's a glare in it, but it was an 87 Nissan like hard body 4-wheel drive, and in this picture, me and my friend right here, his name's Skylar, we were like off-roading in this place we call the Future. It was this place where they were building a future neighborhood, so that's why it's called the Future. But it's a bunch of old logging roads and back roads and gravel roads and like everything you can imagine. And we were driving through this like gravel pit, and I went to go through this tree line right here so I could get to the gravel road, and I fell right into a hole, and you could see the back wheels were up in there. I was stuck there. I couldn't get out, and that's his bike hanging from the thing. But anyways, that was my old truck. We had a lot of fun in that truck. That like introduced me to like what I wanted to do. My grandpa gave me that truck for my first car. I wanted a truck at the time, so he had that one and he gave it to me. And I rallied that thing hard. I used to jump it, I used to like rally it, I used to do anything. I used to overheat it. That thing never blew up. I still have it actually, so if you guys want to see a build video, leave a comment, because that would kind of be a cool build video because I still have it. It's at my mom's house, sitting in her driveway. She bugs me about it all the time. This is what my, like you could call it my second car. It was an 87 Nissan Pathfinder. It looked just like my truck, but it was like a little SUV type car. This isn't an exact picture, this is just stolen off of Google, so mine wasn't lifted like that. It was on like stock wheels and everything. It was automatic, V6. I didn't really use this much. My mom bought it for my brother, but he never used it, so I used it as like whenever my truck was broken, or if I needed to work on my truck and need something to get around, I drove this. But technically that was my second car. I didn't keep this for long. I ended up selling it to my friend for like 800 bucks or something, but that was my second car. And for my third, I actually have pictures of my third one sec. I never really took pictures of this car, but it was a 93 Honda Civic, and it had a JDM B16 in it. It was right-hand drive. That was like my first car that got me into cars. Believe it or not, I used to be like hardcore into trucks. I used to like love jumping my truck and stuff like that. But my brother gave me this car, and that's what like got me into cars. I never really did anything to this. I just drove it around, beat on it. And then when I bought my STI, I just beat on this even harder. All my friends thought it was cool, and it kind of showed my friends that I was into cars, and kind of like, I guess you could say, put my name on the map. But that was my third car. Alright, so for this next car, I really don't like to talk about it. It's like, it has like a soft spot in my heart because I miss this car a lot. I regret getting rid of it at all. It was one of my coolest cars I ever owned, but unfortunately I never really got to drive it. It's a long story. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. Yes, that's a 93 Mazda RX-7. It had the 13B twin turbo engine, and it was had like a full body kit, a full origin body kit, and it was on coilovers and everything. I bought that from my brother as well. I bought it for a really good deal. I don't want to say the prices just because I don't want these to like, I don't want you guys, we're talking about cars, we're not talking about how much I bought the cars for, but I bought that for my brother for a really good price. I don't like to talk about it because when I got rid of it, I traded it for a car I'll talk about next, but I traded it for this other car that the car was just like a piece. It was blown up, this and that. I got ripped off completely, and the owner like didn't follow through. The guy who I traded with didn't follow through with his word, so I basically got screwed over. And I will forever not like talking about this car. I swear I have like legit depression over it because it just, I get sad about it. I had so much going for that car, and I blew it all away with like a horrible deal of a trade. I have more pictures of that car here in a second. The car was the most like insanely loud car I've ever had. You can see this was in my mom's driveway. It didn't have a windshield at the time, and I was driving around with goggles on. And the car didn't have license plates at the time, and I was just driving around because I got it running, and the car was insanely loud. Cops came in at least 5 minutes, pulled me over in the driveway, and they let me off with a warning, but yeah, that was the idle. It was a pretty deep idle. It was a rotary, so it sounded pretty throaty, but so here's the last picture. That was my RX-7. I totally regret getting rid of it, like full blown. It was the worst decision I think I've ever made on the terms of cars and everything like that. But I'm gonna move on to the next car. I ended up trading it for I think it was an 87 or an 89 or something like that. 89 240SX. It had a single cam in it. The car was supposed to run. It was supposed to be really clean. I traded it at night. The guy dropped it off. The next morning I go to start the car and it was basically like blown up. So I got totally ripped off. I don't know if the motor was actually blown or if it just wouldn't start or what, but I didn't tinker with it. I was so like down about getting rid of my RX-7 that I just didn't even want to look at the car. So I ended up selling it to some kid in my town, I think for $800. He had a lot of plans for the car. I don't know exactly what he did with it, but that was my 240. So next car was this BMW Z4 right there. It's a 2003 BMW Z4, just on some aftermarket wheels. Again, shout out to my brother, but he gave me this car, and like his license was suspended when I was in high school, and so basically I drove this a lot of my high school years. I actually won coolest car, like senior year, coolest car or whatever. I won that in the yearbook, which is pretty cool, so shout out to my brother for that. But that was another car that basically got me into cars. I ended up selling it to my sister, and she still has it. It's a little beat up because she got in a little accident, but she still has this car. Right after I bought my STI, I was looking for a second car, something I could drift, something I could beat on, something kind of like a daily, and I ended up finding, this isn't exactly it, but this is like a really good representation of what the car was. But it was I think it was an 86 or an 87 Toyota Cressida, and it had a manual transmission, which was really hard to come by, and it had a welded diff. The thing ripped. I love the car. It was my first time actually like drifting a rear-wheel drive car, and it was, this car isn't necessarily the best car to learn on, but the suspension was really boaty, you know, you'd go around a corner, the car was going like this. But I had some fun in that car, but the car had a lot of leaks, so everything clunked. The thing was kind of falling apart. I needed a lot of TLC, and I just really wasn't willing to put that into it at the time, so I ended up selling it, I think for a week later, for about the same price I bought it for. I really regret getting rid of this car because that'd be a really cool car to have now. I bought it for like $1,000 or something, and it was manual, welded diff. The thing ripped. I really miss that car. I wish I could have had a build video on that car or something, but I got rid of it, unfortunately. So this is the car that everyone knows me for. I bought it when I turned 18. It's a 2007 Subaru STI. It was stage 2 when I bought it. This is the day I bought it. Sorry, there's a hardcore glare and everything. It's gonna be hard to see, but I don't feel like refocusing the camera. Here's another picture. This was at Import Face Off in Seattle, I think 2014. I ended up winning Best Subaru at this meet. Picture sucks, but my car was clean that day. But my STI, I bought it when I turned 18. For some reason, I've always been attracted to that car. Like ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted an STI. I turned 18, bought one, got a decent deal on it, and it blew up, I think 3 months. I think it blew up shortly, like after I got it. About 3 months after I got it, it blew up. I had 2 cylinders basically lose compression, and I ended up building the motor to about 430 wheel horsepower, which is close to 500 engine horsepower. I put a rotated turbo kit on it, forged internals and all that, and I had that set up, which was a pretty bulletproof setup for a while. Well, I don't want to say bulletproof because it obviously blew up. Here's the interior of my STI. It has the brides with the Takatas and the tilt steering wheel. And here's the engine bay to my STI. I have a lot of the stuff powder coated red. I have videos. I got my wheels powder coated that same color. I'll put a link up here. So I still have that car. It's in my garage right now as we speak. I'm currently building it to 600 horsepower. I'll put another video to that engine. I'm putting a closed deck engine in it this time. Hopefully it doesn't blow up, at least for a while. Here's a video of my STI. Yeah, I miss that car a lot. Here's another video. That was my STI, but this brings me to my next car I got, which was this 97 Volkswagen Golf. Shortly after my STI blew up, I needed a daily just to get to work. I found this car on Craigslist for like $1,000. I bought it. I drove it for a few months, blew a head gasket on the way snowboarding, fixed the head gasket, gave the car to my sister, and she ended up buying it for me shortly after. But that was that car. I didn't really have it for very long. Just a 4-door Golf, nothing crazy, stupid wheels. And so my next car, which a lot of you guys are probably here on my channel for, you can see it's my 2003 Nissan 350Z. You can see it right there. I was taking a selfie out the window. A lot of you guys are probably on this channel for this car. I drift it and whatnot. I post videos on it. I bought that car because I needed like a reliable daily driver. I wanted to drift. I wanted something reliable, something to get me to work, and the 350Z fit perfect. I knew I wanted like a 240 or something, but I just wasn't willing to spend time, money, and like all this work trying to get the car like to stay running and whatnot. So I ended up buying a 350Z. I still have the car. It needs a clutch right now. It's actually behind the camera in the driveway. I like that car a lot. It's a cool car. It has decent power. It gets me where I want to go and stuff like that. So this is my next car. It's actually Haley's. It's a 2015 Subaru Crosstrek. It's white. Nothing crazy. It's literally like her daily driver, our daily driver. The thing is reliable, cool. It's like a lifted Impreza basically. Nothing crazy about that, but I still have that car. We still drive it. So I'm going to include that in the list. Again, that's a 2015 Subaru Crosstrek. This is one of my last cars that I have. You can see it's a 96 black Nissan Hardbody. I don't have any actual pictures of the car. It's right there. I can't really show you guys, but it looks just like this, except it has like cool vinyl on the side. It's called Black Magic for that reason. Haley's grandma didn't feel like putting tabs on it, and me and Haley use the truck all the time. I used to do parts runs in this thing. We used to borrow it like all the time. And it was just sitting in front of her house. She didn't feel like registering it, so she said if we tab it, we can have it. So I put tabs on it and registered it, and I use that to get parts. I've been driving it to work every day. Cool little truck. I plan on doing a build series on it soon. I want to like lower it and put some cool wheels on it and tint the windows, just do some basic stuff to it. Use it as like a cool daily slash like parts getter type of truck. And I think that's it for my cars. So now I'm gonna go to all the bikes I've owned. I think I've owned 5 or 6 bikes. I don't keep track exactly. I have to go deep in my Instagram again for these bikes. So here's a picture of the bike. It was a Supermoto. This is it when it was on Craigslist. It was a 2003 Honda CRF 450R that was street legal. It was a Supermoto. If you guys don't know, it's basically a dirt bike with street tires. So on to the next one. We ended up trading the CRF for a DRZ, which I'll show you here in a second. So the CRF, if you guys don't know, they're not really reliable on the street. They're not made to be rode hard and long miles. They're meant to just be off-road, short miles and stuff like that. So thing needed rebuilt, I'm pretty sure, so I traded it for this DRZ right here. I think it was a 2006 DRZ 400. Bad picture. I don't feel like focusing on it, but you can see it's yellow and black. It was basically like stage 2, you could say. I had a lot of fun on that bike. It was super reliable. I took it up in the mountains with my friends. I used to do a lot of stuff on that. But I didn't have an endorsement, and all the cops in my area started realizing that I didn't have a motorcycle endorsement, so they'd pull me over all the time because they know I didn't have an endorsement. So I told myself I either need to get an endorsement or I need to sell the bike. So I put it on Craigslist for a really high amount. Someone ended up buying it, and so I sold it. I think 2 years later, it brings me to our next bike. I got this bike from my grandpa. I don't have any pictures of it, I don't believe. So it's a 1973 Triumph Bonneville 750. It was my great-grandfather's, and when he died, my grandpa inherited it, and he let it sit and the motor seized up. The pistons rusted to the cylinder walls. But I have the engine, not in this picture, but I have the engine, I have the frame. I basically have, the whole bike is basically in a box. I'm trying to restore it and do a cool build on it, but I have a lot of projects I'm doing. It's kind of cool that I inherited this because my grandpa gave that to me. If you guys didn't know, he passed away in January, and so it's kind of cool that he gave that to me in person. It's just kind of cool to pass stuff on like that, and that's probably one of the favorite vehicles I own just because it's been through the family, I think 3 times now. So stay tuned for that, guys. I'll do a cool video on that. Sorry, I have all these projects, but I do my best. And so the next bike I still have, it's a DRZ 400 SM. Again, I bought it, like, this is it when I bought it. So I'm probably out of focus, yeah. But that's when I bought it. You can see it was really clean, but it's basically stock with exhaust. I did a few things to it, shortened the exhaust, made a few videos on it, put a Takata strap on it, and that's it now. That's how it sits. It's pretty clean. It's one of the cleanest DRZs I think I've seen. It has really low miles. I really like the bike. again, I'm into bikes too. I'm not only into cars. If it has wheels and it goes fast, I'll be on it. So alright guys, so that was all the cars I've owned since I've been 16, I guess cars and bikes. It's a total of 16 of them. If you guys want to see more of those, you can follow me on Instagram. Stay tuned guys, I'll be doing a clutch video here soon, and I'm still building my STI. Sorry for the lack of car posts lately. I'm doing my best. I'm just trying to build my garage, get my garage right up to work on cars, get my toolbox built back up, stuff like that. So stay tuned guys. Thank you for watching. Like the video and leave a comment if you guys think I'm stupid, and subscribe. Bye guys. No, just kidding. Don't leave a comment if you think I'm stupid, but leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe.